Hello friends, welcome to my online tutorial. My name is Pranav Shukla and today we are going for the third part of our grammar topic tenses and voices. Friends, in the first two parts we have discussed the concept of tense and voice. We have discussed what is tense, what is voice. Tenses are actually the study of different kind of finite verbs, and in fact finite verb is something that the kind of form of verb that gives you the idea about the exact time and situation of the action. So now it is a high time that we are supposed to go for different tenses, where they are used, in what situation you can use a particular tense, how they are structured, what is the sentence formation, how the form of verb look like in a certain tense. Apart from that, it's active voice as well as passive voice, along with some examples. So starting with the first category of tense, that is simple tense of all the times, present time, past time as well as future time. So here we have the first simple tense, that is simple present tense. Friends, simple present tense is a very versatile tense. It is one of the most used or usable tenses in our day-to-day life. It has got number of usages and sometimes its use is quite confusing. Normally we confuse the use of simple present tense with continuous present tense. So better be careful using simple present tense. So where does it use? Where is it used basically? So when you have the situation where you have to speak a sentence in which the action takes place daily or regularly, or it is something of a very general routine kind of common action that is happened frequently or all the time or always or regularly, or it can be a habit, it can be a common phenomenon. So all these situations actually tend you to go for using the sentence belongs to simple present tense. So the sentence is one of the actions which occur regularly at regular intervals. Say, I visit my mama's house, my maternal uncle's house every year. It doesn't happen daily, it doesn't happen every day, but it happens every year regularly. At the same time, the action that happens daily, I brush my teeth. The action that happens every day, I go to school every day. The action that happens in general, for example, I prefer to take Calabar Road to go to my office. So that is quite common, something of a general phenomenon. Apart from that, if you have some habit, I drink Bonvita in the morning. Any natural phenomenon, any I can say cosmic or universal fact can also go with simple present tense. For example, planets don't have their own light. Light travels in a straight line. Any scientific action reaction, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Any mathematical formula, 2 and 2 make 4. So all these actions actually go for simple present tense. Apart from this routine, daily, regular, general, common, the actions happening always, all the time, simple present tense sometimes can also refer future. So normally if something is going to be happen in future, we go for future tense, simple future tense. But if something is well planned, pre-planned, something is scheduled, and there is hardly any chance that it changes, So this kind of actions can be shown using either continuous present tense as well as simple present tense. For example, the schedule of a prime minister is very fixed. So it is mentioned in his diary. He runs on his plans and schedules. So if the prime minister is about to visit any certain place in the coming week or coming days, it is highly scheduled and there is hardly any chance to have any change in that. So we can speak this sentence better in simple present tense rather than in future tense. We should not say the Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Gujarat next week. It's better to use simple present tense. Sentence would be something like that. Prime Minister Narendra Modi visits Gujarat next week. So this is the usage of simple present tense. It is called as future time reference using simple present tense. So these are various places where we can use simple present tense. So if you come across situations like that, better you go for using the sentence belongs to simple present tense. Now how the sentence is formed. So any fundamental sentence in English language or any other language belongs to active voice. As you know, you already discussed it, but if you find action is more important and object plays active role rather than subject, and subject plays passive role in the action. So if you want to emphasize the object, you better go for passive voice. So in the same tense, we have two different forms of sentences, in active voice as well as passive voice. So how active voice is formed? The sentence starts with subject. Subject is the doer of the sentence, the one who does the action, who performs the action. It is not necessarily be any human being. It can be a thing, it can be an activity, it can be anything that has got name. So subject is always either a noun or a pronoun. For example, in the given sentence over there, she is the subject, is a pronoun replacing a name instead of a name. Then this subject is followed by the verb with root form. For example, play, sing, drink, etc. Or with certain pronouns or nouns, it can also go with root form followed by s or es. If the noun is plural, then the root form comes. If the noun is singular, then the root form is added with s or es. If the pronouns like I, we, you and they are there, it is followed by root form. If the pronouns like he, she, it is there, it is followed by s or es. So you better remember that. So here we have she, so it is added with s. So now the verb is she writes. So friends, it is actually the verb that makes you able to decide the tense as well as voice. Both are simultaneously decided. So verb is something that decides the tense and voice. So here writes tells you it is simple present tense and active voice. Then comes the object. Object is again something or somebody that has got name. So it is either a noun or pronoun. So here we have an object, a letter. Object is something upon which the action is performed or to which the action is performed. So here we have the object as a letter, and we also have another object, that is her cousin. The letter, she writes letter. She writes what? Okay, she writes a letter. She writes a letter to whom? To her cousin. So these both are the objects. So this is a sentence. This is a verb, right? Is a verb with two objects. And at the end, we have the words like every month, the word that can tell you time, place, reason. All of that describes the action. So this can be also called as adverbials, but it could be even sometimes something else than the adverbials. So we can say, uh, apart from the main parts of the sentence, subject, verb, and object, we have some other words that add into the meaning of the sentence. So this is the sentence belongs to simple present tense and active voice. The whole sentence is, she writes a letter to her cousin every month. Now friends, any sentence can be made negative by adding a not after the auxiliary verb or the helping verb in the sentence. And if the same helping verb or the auxiliary verb is brought before the subject, or if it is the passive voice before the object in the beginning, it could be made a question. So we have the example of negative as well as question statement. So normally simple present tense does not have any auxiliary verb or helping verb. So just to make it negative, we have to bring or we have to derive an auxiliary verb like do or does from the outside. So as we have here she, so we have to bring from outside does. If we have I, we, you or they, we could have brought do. If we had the plural noun, we could have again brought do. If we had the singular noun, we could have brought does. So you can understand where you can use do or you can use does. So here we have she, then to make it negative, you brought does from outside, she does. Then comes not to make it negative. And mind well, the main verb had s added to the root form. Now we have brought does from outside. So that represents that kind of form. So this s is removed in the negative sentence. So it is something like that. She does not write. Mind well, she does not write a letter to her cousin every month or every year or something like that. So this is the negative form of the simple present tense. Now the question, same does is brought right in the beginning to make it question. So as it comes in the beginning, it is turned out to be capital. Does she, again the root form, write a letter to her cousin every month, every year? If you, well, this kind of question can be answered in yes or no. This is called as yes or no question. Sometimes questions demand some information in the answer. So if you want to get information, you have to use question word to ask the question. So that question word comes right in the beginning. For example, I want to know when this action happens, so I brought when in the beginning. After when, just to make it question, auxiliary verb does is there. Then comes subject she, then the main verb write, then the object letter, then the other object to her cousin, and the rest of the words. So this is how it is made question. Now this is all about active voice. Now in the same tense, if you want to emphasize object and make it passive, sentence structure is something like that. But first comes object. Out of these two objects, 1 and 2, letter and her cousin, you can just bring anyone out of them right in the beginning. So right now I have taken letter for the consideration. It is a direct object. So taken this first, then the verb is changed. This is what you are supposed to learn, friends. Then the verb is changed. In the active voice, the verb was with the root form or with the root form with s or es. Now in the same tense, in the passive voice, the verb has got some change, and it will be observed in all the tenses. So here it is either am or is or are, their helping verbs added with the main verb with past participle form. Past P means past participle form. Well, V3 form of the verb. Then the subject goes right in the end, added with by, and then subject, and then the rest of the words. So it is something like that. A letter, then now is there. Now you know better. Okay, if the subject or the object is always a noun or the pronoun, So here if it was I, it could have been am. So if here it is he, she or it is followed by is. If here it is we, you and they followed by are. If there is singular noun, it is followed by is. If there is plural noun, it is followed by are. If it were children over there, it could have been are. If it were letters over there, it could have been are. But it is only letter, so it is what is. So letter is. Then the past participle form, the verb. Verb is write. So the past participle form, V3 form is written. Then the object that is not taken for making passive voice, it is kept at the same place as it was. So it is here to her cousin, then by, then the subject is she. If it goes to the other side of the verb, it is turned out to be object case. So it is turned out to be her, and then the rest of the words. The whole thing is a letter is written to her cousin by her every month. This every month is actually adding something into the meaning of verb. So it could be anywhere in the sentence. It is an adverb, so it does not have any specific place. It depends on your emphasis. It could be right in the beginning. Every month a letter is written to her cousin by her. A letter every month is written to her cousin by her. A letter is written every month to her cousin by her. It could be anywhere. It could be anywhere. If you want to emphasize indirect object, that is her cousin, you can also bring it right in the beginning just to make it passive. So it is another way. Her cousin, again it is singular noun, is, then past participle of the verb, written, then the object that is not considered to make passive, so it is kept at the same place as it was, a letter, then subject added with by her every month. So another way is her cousin is written a letter by her every month. So friends, this is simple present tense. Now friends, another simple tense, that is simple past tense. So the usage of simple past tense is very simple. If you have the action that happened in the past at any time, something happened in the past and now becomes history. So that is, now this kind of action is shown using simple past tense. It is a very frequently seen tense, very useful to write number of writing parts, report writing, articles, stories, all these things written in the simple past tense. So it is very handy, at the same time the simple most in the whole bunch of tenses. So the active voice sentence formation is here. Subject again noun or pronoun. Now the main change, as you already studied, tenses are all about finite verbs, different forms of verb. So in all the tenses, what changes is only verb. So here the change is seen only in the verb. Earlier it was root form with s or es or simple root form. But here now verb with past tense, it is also called as V2 form, followed by object, that is again noun or pronoun, then other words or adverbials, whatever you want to call it. Example is subject again she, instead of write or writes, as it is past tense, she, the past tense of the verb write is wrote. Then the object letter to her cousin yesterday. So yesterday shows that something that happened in the past tense. The task of writing happened in the past tense yesterday. So this is simple past tense active voice. So if you see the past tense from the verb, believe that it is simple past tense active voice. If you want to make it again negative, again it does not have any helping verb, so we would again bring helping verb from outside, as we have done in simple present tense. We have got to do or does. from outside. Now this time you have to bring did from outside. Did belongs to past tense. So we have brought did. This is did. She did. Once did comes, it itself belongs to past tense. So the past form of the main verb write goes away. So this wrote is turned out to be now write. So she did not write a letter to her cousin yesterday. Then comes, we can say कि अपने कजिन को उसने कल लेटर नहीं लिखा. इसका मतलब है अपने कजिन को उसने कल लेटर लिखा. सिंपल प्रेजेंट टेंस अगर होता तो द मीनिंग वुड हैव बीन वह अपने कजिन को हर महीने लेटर लिखती है. समथिंग लाइक दैट. सो इट इज समथिंग डिफरेंट. If you have to make it question, did she write a letter to her cousin? Did is in the beginning. You want to know the time? When did she write a letter to her cousin? Instead of do and does, now comes what? Did. The rest of things are same. This is active voice, simple past tense. Now comes passive voice. So same thing, object in the beginning. Instead of is, am or are, unlike simple present tense, we have was and were that belongs to past tense. With the same verb with past participle form, the main verb write is now written, and again by subject and other words. So the same thing, letter sort of is now comes was. Now you might have understood, okay, if the subject is singular it comes was, subject is plural it comes were. If it is I, it comes was. We, you and there is followed by were. He, she, it again is followed by was. So a letter was written to her cousin by her yesterday. उनके द्वारा कल अपने cousin को letter लिखा गया. Or you can take another object, that is her cousin, again singular, was written a letter by her yesterday. Translation is the same thing, same as it is. Okay. उनके द्वारा अपने कजिन को कल लेटर लिखा गया. So this is all about simple past tense, active voice and passive voice. There is a minute change, friends, in the form of verb. It was root form in the simple present tense. Now it is past tense form of simple past tense. So this is active and passive voice of simple present tense and simple past tense. Now friends, another simple tense, that is simple now future. So this tense is used to indicate that action will happen in the future at some time. So even future has number of different situations. So we'll discuss it later, the different situations even in the future. But right now, if action is going to happen in the future at certain time, it is indicated using simple future tense. As you know, future is all about uncertainty. So it indicates something is probably going to happen in the future at a certain time. So it is highly uncertain. It is all probability. So this kind of actions is shown by using simple future tense. As you can see, active voice, subject, again noun or pronoun. Now from now onwards, we have all the tenses with auxiliary verbs along with the main action verb. So now if we are going to make them negative or question this time, from now onwards, we don't have to bring any auxiliary verb from outside like do, does or did, as we have done in the simple future and simple present and simple past. So we already have shall and will, either shall or will. Now please also understand, normally if you have I or we in the beginning as a subject, noun or pronoun, you can go for shall, and for the rest of the nouns and pronouns you can go for will. But if you want to show some determination in doing the action, from determination, you can also use will instead of shall with I and we. And the same thing vice versa you can do with the rest of the pronouns and nouns using shall just to show the form determination. So will is quite often used and shall is rarely seen with any noun or pronoun. So, but this is the real usage. So either shall or will. Then the verb with the root form. Then comes object, either noun or pronoun, and then the other words. So here we have the example. I've taken subject as my very close friend's name is there, Ketan. Then Ketan is a singular noun, third person singular, so it's followed by will. Then the main verb bring. Then the object me. Then another object, a new book, and then the time telling word, that is tomorrow. So the whole thing is Ketan will bring me a new book tomorrow. Ketan मेरे लिए कल एक नई book लाएगा, something like that. If you want to make it negative, अगर आपको ये negative बनाना है, you can just go for simply putting not over there. Ketan will not bring. If you write it down in a short form, it would be won't bring. Ketan won't bring me a book, new book tomorrow. If you again want to make it question, then the same will be right in the beginning. Will Ketan bring me a new book tomorrow? If it is a negative question, will Ketan not bring a new book tomorrow? And then the question mark. So it is now very simple to make it negative or question, as we already have the auxiliary verb within the sentence. Now comes passive voice. So object in the beginning, shall or will, then verb with past participle. Mind well, friends, passive voice has got the main verb always in the past participle form. So it is one of the indications to recognize passive voice. So object, shall or will, verb with past participle form, then by and subject and the other words. Taken as again we have two objects, me and a new book. So taken me as the first object, as me comes before the verb, it is turned out to be I. As it is I, it is ideally followed by shall. So I shall. Then one more word is to be added over there. That is be. That is be. So shall be or will be with past participle. So I shall be. This is what the whole form. I shall be. Now the past participle form, the bring is brought. I shall be brought a new book. The second object is this as it is. By and subject Ketan tomorrow. So the whole thing, Ketan मेरे लिए कल एक नई बुक लाएगा, उसके बदले मेरे लिए केतन द्वारा एक नई बुक लाई जाएगी, something like that. Time, situation of the action remains same, only the emphasis is changed. Here the emphasis is upon subject, here it is upon object. Again, if I want to emphasize the other object, that is what, a new book, एक नई बुक लाई जाएगी, इसमें मेरे लिए नई बुक लाई जाएगी, इसमें नई बुक लाई जाएगी मेरे लिए. So new book, again new book is a third person noun, singular one, so it is added with will, then be, then brought, then another object that is at the same place, as this object is taken out after it, taken out from after it, so it is added with to. So it is the whole thing is a new book will be brought to me by Ketan tomorrow. So this is the passive voice of simple future tense. So here we have all the simple tenses, friends. In the coming lecture, we are going for the rest of the categories, continuous as well as perfect continuous tenses, along with the active voice and possible passive voices. Thank you very much for the session. If you like my video, again, share it, comment upon it, and subscribe it. Thank you very much.